Our opening words were written by the Reverend Julian Jamaica Soto. Some people are used to keeping rules. Don't cross the street when the light is red, only sensible. It turns out that keeping rules isn't the same as keeping covenant, which asks us, instead of keeping a bright line, to keep our promises. To what have we promised ourselves? To this moment in time and place, to this community, and even tenderly interconnected this planet. We promise ourselves to the idea that we are each and all human beings. We promise that there is something moving between us that we cannot tame and cannot measure. The chalice is a reminder that what flame we keep inside us cannot light the way. The light must spill to shine. The thing you must be is yourself, unadulterated, shedding the willingness to journey alone, as though you are made of something hard and unforgivable. You are human. You belong. Right here, right now. And together we will chase away the sickness, the secrets, and leave only the open possibility that the future is a space for growth. Come, let us worship together. I'm the Reverend Rachael Hayes, minister of this congregation. I use she, her pronouns. I am so glad that you are here today. Today is called Bring a Friend Sunday, and it is my hope that whether you brought a friend, or a friend brought you, or you're brand new, or you've been here a long time, or you might bring a friend some other week, always an option, that we all feel a little more connected to this congregation and one another today. I invite you to say our congregation's chalice lighting words with me. We light this flame to invite a world of peace where we heal the wounds, where we share what we have with one another, where justice is another word for relationship, and we listen for what love has to say. I invite you to rise in body, heart, and spirit to sing our opening hymn, Come Sing a Song With Me. It's on the screen, and number 346 in the gray hymnal. join me in reciting our congregation's covenant? Love is the spirit of this community. We dwell together in peace. We seek truth and justice in love. We honor everyone's worth and dignity, and we do the work of building the beloved community in our world. So, during the Second World War, which is before your parents or maybe even your grandparents were born, there were a lot of people who were not safe. Well, the government of Nazi Germany targeted many different groups of people. They targeted Jewish people and Roma people and queer and trans people and disabled people and lots of people. And they also targeted the people who disagreed with them. Many people tried to get away from Germany and other Nazi-controlled countries, and people who are trying to go from an unsafe place to a safer place are called refugees. So some Unitarians were trying to help refugees get to safer places, and they called themselves the Unitarian Services Committee. So there was this refugee named Hans Deutsch who had made political cartoons of Hitler, the leader of the Nazis, when he was living in Paris in 1930s. And then when the Nazis came to France, Paris wasn't safe anymore, so he left and went to the south of France, and then Spain and Portugal. And when he was there, he met Reverend Charles Joy, who was the head of the Unitarian Services Committee, which we're going to call the USC, because that's a long name. Deutsch was impressed with the work that the USC was doing to help Eastern European refugees get to safer places, but it was really hard to work across these barriers of so many languages and borders and religions. And it was hard for the Unitarians to convince people that they could offer help. So Deutsch designed a logo for the USC, and it was a cup holding a flame. It was a flaming chalice, but a drawing. So this was a symbol of sacrifice, of helping people even when it was hard, and it comes at a cost. Reverend Joy took this drawing and used it to mark important letters, and he made badges for his agents to show that they worked for the USC, and they could be trusted to help get refugees to safety. The flaming chalice became this symbol of help and safety and dedication. It was a symbol of who the Unitarians wanted to be in the world. So the first flaming chalice was actually paper. It was a drawing on paper and ink. And then it was only in later generations that we started lighting a chalice in our services. And now we have chalices that are made of all sorts of things. And I have a few over there. Well, we could, but we don't have a cast iron pan to look at today. But if you look over here, we have ceramic and glass and wood and more glass and Lego. And I wondered if you all would want to light some of these chalices before you go downstairs. Who else is going to light the one on the end here? Well, we can take turns and unlight it and light it again. It's okay if it drips. Okay. Here. Who wants to light this one on the end? Okay. It's okay.
Why did you never cease the
Unitarian Universalists are the religious descendants of two heretic Christian denominations. And I like that word heretic. The Greek root word of it is choice. Our religious forebears made a choice to question the mainstream Christian teachings that surrounded them. The Unitarians questioned the doctrine of the Trinity, the teaching that says God is three persons in one, Father, Son, and Spirit. The Unitarians said, God is God, pure and simple. Jesus is an amazing teacher, but a human one. Unitarian, God is one. The Universalists questioned the doctrine of hell. They said, if God is the ultimate love, how could God permit anyone to go to hell? Everyone is saved. Universalists, universal salvation. Of course, they didn't stop choosing or questioning there. They embraced the idea of liberal religion, in which some things like love and free will and consent are part of the core of the tradition, but the particulars, such as teachings about Jesus and the Bible, became juicy material for exploration and questioning and meaning-making. Unitarians and Universalists began to come from many traditions, and in the 20th century were deeply rooted in the humanist movement, which promoted autonomy, dignity, human agency, and potential, and said that it is possible to live a moral and ethical life without God or any supernatural causes at all, that humans can and should make meaning of their experience based on the observable world. In the middle of the 20th century, the Unitarians and the Universalists had grown more alike with the passage of time. They joined in one body, the Unitarian Universalist Association. This new religious group affirmed many source traditions, not only Christianity, and affirmed the conscience and free will of the individual and individual congregations. Our congregation is a member of the Unitarian Universalist Association. The central idea of Unitarian Universalism in 2025 is love. At our best, everything we do and everything we are comes from love. The 6 values commonly lifted up by Unitarian Universalists all have love as their source. These values are justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity. Because we love, we need one another, want the best for one another, want fairness for one another, want each person to grow into their potential, and want our institutions to do so as well, even when we're different from one another, especially when we're different. We want these things for everyone, not just Unitarian Universalists. We speak up for queer and trans people, and for women and disabled people and Black people, Indigenous people, and people of color. Many of us belong in one or more of these groups, but we affirm that true liberation will be the liberation of all people, living in harmony with the planet that nurtures us. That is the kind of love we're talking about. That kind of love feels a long way off some days. So we do our best to create little pockets of it, pockets that we can share and grow from, not pockets to huddle inside of. This is why we come together even without a doctrinal compulsion to do so. It's not just habit, it's a choice to participate in nurturing a better world, a world of love. This little pocket of about 130 members is just one of 1,000 congregations, and they're all different. Some congregations are much smaller than ours with no paid minister or staff, and some are much larger than ours with lots of full-time staff and multiple ministers. Each congregation chooses its own justice priorities, social programs, and community culture. The congregations support one another by funding the Unitarian Universalist Association, or UUA, and the UUA provides guidance on best practices, theological, moral, and ethical grounding, large-scale justice organizing, and so many other services. To be clear, we pay for this support from the UUA, from the pledges of our members and friends, and it's worth it. The UUA does not fund us, it's the other way around. If you visit other Unitarian Universalist congregations, you might notice that their service is different from ours, by a little or a lot. Most congregations do light a chalice at the start of the service. Most, but not all, celebrate a water ritual and flower ceremony. Some have a more distinctly Christian service with communion or the Lord's Prayer. Some don't have a service on Christmas Eve at all. Some congregations are more like a discussion group. And Joys and Sorrows, which is a mainstay of our congregation, is observed by maybe half of UU congregations. I don't know any other congregation that sings our closing song. Yeah. One thing that is particular to our congregation is its size. Because we are the size we are, we have just one full-time minister and a handful of part-time employees, wonderful, lovely part-time employees who can't do the work of all of the good ideas that they and I and you have. A profound amount of the work of our congregation is done by our members and friends. Without this member labor, we would not have our Zoom service or in-person tech support or YouTube channel, our choir, our greeters and social hour. We wouldn't have small groups, our whole lives comprehensive sex ed, very important, or most of our religious education program, our caring circle and pastoral care, our Wednesday community breakfast, our ongoing building maintenance, our justice collaboration, and that's just the beginning. Almost everything that happens here comes from the commitment of our members to make it happen. It is our members who make our congregation an exciting place to be. So maybe you like my sermons and Brenda's beautiful music and Leah's powerful organization and JC's commitment to our children. But for nearly 140 years, it is the members who have made it possible. Membership is a commitment to participate in the life, programming, funding, and governance of our congregation. Don't get me wrong, you don't need to be an official member to participate in our services and programs and community, and you don't need to be a member to pledge your financial support, hint, hint. You do need to be a member to vote in congregational decision-making. The majority of our budget, which corresponds to our payroll and other fixed expenses like anything to do with the building or administrative costs, is from pledge income. Members and friends make financial pledges that reflect a meaningful commitment of their household income. That might be $5 or $10 a month for someone who doesn't have more to go around, and it might be $1,000 a month for someone who has a lot to share. Both of those households belong. We'll begin talking more about how and why to pledge in the coming month. But even more than your pledge, we want to make a difference in your life. We want you to know that you are loved, that you have overflowing potential, that your ideas and presence matter. We have so many ways to get involved. We do this great thing called Friday Fun, where we invite you to come for pizza and games in the social hall. Or maybe you're more interested in the book group, or you're curious about Wednesday community breakfast, or the women's circle, or men's breakfast, or something else. You are invited. All of the details are in the weekly announcements that Leah sends out every week. Just show up. You are welcome, and you matter, and we're glad you're here. Sometimes it feels like we're just a little pocket of love, and we are, but we can make the choice to enact this love and care together so that we can share it with the world. So we have a place to start when the world needs more love. This is where we start from, where we build beloved community together and use what we have made together as a place to share beloved community with the world. Most of the people who respond to our visitor survey say that they are looking for community when they come to our congregation. They are looking for people who take love as that starting place. Because as human beings, all of us need to be known and loved, and because the world needs a lot of love right now. Environmental activist Bill McKibben puts it this way: for an individual to make a bigger difference, they need to be less of an individual. Our power comes from working together. We need our communities to change the course of the injustices unfolding around us. One person speaking out for the rights of trans people or the environment or disabled people is still one person, but coordinated action empowers us to build a world with more justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity. This is why individuals form congregations, why congregations form an association, and why we join with our interfaith partners. We need friends because we're not going to do these things alone. I invite you to join me in the words to extinguish our chalice. Says, we extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. We are about to sing our closing song. You're welcome to stay right where you are and be held in the love of our congregation, or you are welcome to rise and move into a circle along the outer aisle. Place your hands over your heart, or reach out and hold the hand of someone next to you as we sing our closing song. May you carry this moment forward through your week, a little pocket of joy and community to light up your days as you go in peace.